Hello, y'all. I am back again for another video. And this video is going to be about the lights. Okay. And I did a video already explaining to y'all that this year I will be using my gift more and I will be going over more details of what it is to have a prophetic gift and also to help you learn how to read your environment. So, with me, I don't need cards. Okay. So, a lot of people go into psychic, they get card readings. Reading cards is not my gift. My gift, I would consider, is more natural and more, I think, more acceptable to the Lord. And I'm not forcing my gift, right? So I don't know much about the cards. I just know that for me, I don't need cards as of now. And I would rather do my readings utilizing my gift without using cards. Okay. That way I'm staying for me in an alignment with the Lord in heaven. Okay. So using my gift, I study as well here and there. But the thing is, okay, I was watching these videos. So you have to understand, is there really any truth to this? So I watched some videos where it talked about men becoming rich because they interact with the woman's wound, okay, through sexual activity, giving them children. So it talked about men gaining financial wealth from that, okay, and I believe it's some truth to it, especially if a man is sexually active with the right woman. I think there's some truth to it. But I do know this for a fact. I'm going to say this. I am not sexually active anymore. Okay. And I believe this. I believe there's truth in everything, even if I don't fully understand their truth. But from the way these ladies explained it, there's like 100% truth in it. So I had to think about this, right? I'm like, well, think about when you were sexually active. Did I feel like my energy was being given away or taken? Or my children definitely are a blessing. Okay. So I would say that and some of them, not all of them. I don't live in fantasy. Your gift will never prevail, and the things that's supposed to come to you won't necessarily come to you if you put out facades in the spirit, pretending to be something that you're not, or pretending to throw out a positivity that's real superficial. It's kind of like selling people a dream, right? So I'm not going to tell you that someone that brings me heartache, that does not speak to me, no matter if they are my child, that's not a blessing. It's not a blessing in the way a blessing should be, but you can make it a blessing by accepting that's the way it is. But on this channel, I don't throw out dreams and facades. I have visions and truths, right? So, with that being said, I'm going to state it just like I said it. Some of my children are blessings. Now, can the other ones become a blessing? Oh, yes, they can. And once they were. But stop putting people on pedestals that repeatedly, voluntarily, openly, without any remorse, come to harm you. Why are you doing that? What kind of gift are you going to get out of that? So, with that being said, as I was watching this video about, and I'll put it in the description box. I sure will. Let me put that on my notepad. I'll put it in the description box to add the video. Add video that I'm speaking of about men gaining riches and wealth from being inside of women. Now, I do know this. They may temporarily gain it, but I have watched the downfall of narcissists. Okay. So it's also a temporary reward. If a man gains anything the wrong way, so if he's using a woman's energy and being sexually active, producing kids, going inside of women's wombs, if he's doing this because he understands he's going to gain more finances or more good energy, if he's doing it for that reason and he's more conscious of the result, or even subconsciously noticing that the more women he has, the richer he gets, all of that will be removed eventually. It's just a matter of time. And that part of the video, I don't remember them discussing the outcome. I've lived long enough to see the outcome. I saw it with my aware narcissist that I was with. The last man that I was sexually active with that tried to take my energy. I watched, I listened, and I heard the corruption in his voice. The shame. Don't try to take the wrong woman's energy. You know, some may call it what, the chosen ones. I'm going to call it the gifted. So with that being said, I don't want to give you a dream, right? A fantasy dream, not a vision, but a dream, an unrealistic explanation of something. It don't even sound right, right? Listen to it. All children are gifts. All children are blessings. The Bible tells you that's not true. This is where you do go to your Bible. The Bible clearly says that there will be children of the devil. It sure does. The Bible doesn't even tell you that everyone that is going to come to the earth is necessarily a blessing. But I would say the majority of my children are blessings to me. I will say that. So going back into this video, the lights, because I wanted to talk about lights. And I already explained to y'all that I'm going to be utilizing my gift more. And it dawned on me through kind of watching that video of how men become more wealthier through being basically inside of ladies. And this goes back to the value of a virgin. You know, some countries will talk about that. In some Muslim countries, they believe that a man's reward when he dies is that he'll get so many virgins, and that will be his reward, to get more virgins in heaven. I don't believe in that stuff. It's insane. It's insanity, right? Because in the spiritual world, in heaven, does a virgin exist? Are they virgins? Because they're not. Once you go into the spirit world, from what I understand, you no longer have flesh, right? So I don't know what the virginity status in heaven would be. So, you know, that type of stuff I don't believe. But I'm bringing that up to say this, that in certain religions, the act of having sex with a virgin is supposed to be a reward and give a certain type of energy to a man. So what that information is telling you is that there is a energy transference. That part of Islam is explaining that dealing with a lady in general is a energy transference. You just have to kind of like put more thought into it, so to speak. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm putting more thought into it to add to it. But I do not believe that virgins will be a reward to men in heaven, or however it's explained in Islam. I don't believe in that. I believe that that part of those material is corrupt, and it doesn't make sense to me, and it's not logical for me to believe it. So remember, I did a video talking about, don't let this book destroy your mind and your life. Okay. And the Quran could be one of them. The Hadith, Torah, Quran, Bible. These books can destroy your mind and life, especially if you're believing all of it. Okay. Because all of it don't sound right. Okay. And one of the things that don't sound right is that some man that's such a righteous man is going to get a bunch of virgins when he goes into heaven. I do not believe that. Okay. I believe just the fact that a man thinks that that's going to be his reward puts him in a very spiritually dangerous situation within his soul. It makes him an evil man to even want that reward. Why would a good-natured man want to have sex with a bunch of virgins? I mean, we just as well say that he's desiring a sex trafficking situation in heaven. It doesn't sound right, right? So, and when I studied the religion of Islam and I was learning about it, I did not know that they said that. You know, that's why you got to really study these religions better before you join, because some things, if you would have known it, you wouldn't have joined at all. Or you would have at least been more aware. But I'm going to say, to be honest, that could have totally turned me off, because I just don't believe in that. It's craziness to me. So it has no logic. And because I have enough good nature in me, I know that something is wrong about that. For one, I know it's man-made. I know that a man stating and calling something a holy book and having a desire and thinking, even the thought of a man thinking that he's going to get a bunch of virgins after he dies, I know that that's a man-made material. That's something that a man wrote for other men to gaslight them into thinking that they're going to receive some blessing for being evil. Okay, like I said, just the thought. And I believe a man that's not wicked in nature wouldn't believe it as well. There are men that will think just like I do right now. I can talk to a man and he say, that's not right. Even my ex-aware narcissist. Some of the things him and I would discuss about the religion of Islam, neither one of us believe those certain aspects of the religion. My ex-aware narcissist does not believe that a man is getting a bunch of virgins when they go to heaven if they're a righteous man, because my ex-aware narcissist struggles to get pussy right here on earth, right? He had prostitutes that called him back in the day when he was trying to be a pimp, decades and decades before he met me, discarding him and telling him that they couldn't come back to the motel that he had for them because they were being kidnapped. Okay, they told my ex-aware narcissist that they were being kidnapped and they couldn't make it back to the motel. So basically, he had to get out of prostitution because all the prostitutes quit on him. Okay, nobody wants to be kicked in the head and slammed all on the ground and then still gonna go to work for you. So he had to learn that the hard way. He was young and dumb, but it was a blessing for him because he got out of that line of work. And because it's not a line of work. It's a bad line of work and something we should not be involved in. So when I was watching that video, going back to what I was saying with the belief of men get good energy, they get wealth, they get more riches from sexual activity, I had to go back and think about what happened to me during sexual activity. And I watched a man get made to feel better. And sometimes I felt less than, I felt worse. Not all the time, but I would say overall, the man seemed to feel better after sex than I did. And that's because, for one, I'm with the wrong man, too. Okay. That situation may get a little better if I was with the right man. But even being with the right man, I'm giving my energy away. And so it's still going to take away from my gift. So when I watched that video, and I did agree with that perspective, and there was multiple women providing evidence. This is a sister on this one particular channel, and she provides clips. She utilizes fair use clips all throughout her video. Her videos are typically 30 minutes long. So I would agree with the perspective. So I thought about this as my gift, because I'm basically going into a realm where I'm able to use my clairvoyant gift more. And I talked about in the video using my gifts that the gift of prophecy in the Bible, which is a gift given to certain people that have the Holy Spirit, okay? They can be gifted with the gift of prophecy, but that still makes them a clairvoyant from a worldly perspective. Please click a like, y'all, since I see a couple of people in here. Please click a like. I appreciate it. So it motivates me to keep uploading too when people are kind of encouraging of what I'm doing, because I am taking my time here to share my experiences and lessons. So with my gift, it's coming more onset where I can actually utilize it more, and I'm 99.9% accurate in my gift. I always have been. So I thought about this. The Lord is allowing my gift more and more to read situations, understand situations, and even being more clairvoyant, being more of a prophetic person, because I'm not sexually active. So there is a correlation there. So what happens is, I believe that the lady or girl, because I talked to y'all about why I prefer not to be called a woman. Okay. So a lady or girl can gain and understand, and the Lord can give her gift more when she's not sexually active. So that's what's happening to me. So I'm no longer giving my energy away to where men benefit from my energy. I benefit from my energy. I truly feel that. So now I'm able to benefit from my own energy, and I will be able to utilize my gifts more. Okay. Now there are some married ladies that are gifted as well that utilize their gifts, and they are gifted. But in my case, my gifts are going to be open up more due to not being married. Okay. Because just in general, the average man I'm with is not going to want me to use my gifts. Every man I've been with has been the same way. Maybe one would compliment my gift here and there. But usually they don't want me to use my gift. They want me to gift them, but not use my gifts to the point where I don't need the man. No man wants that. A man doesn't want me to utilize my gifts so much to where I don't need him. So I know that about men. Okay. So going back to what the subject matter is ultimately going to be about, the lights. So I'm going to be doing my readings of certain things. So lights. Okay. I'm going to explain what lights mean. For one, lights can cause medical problems. Some people will go into chronic and severe migraines because a light in the room is on. And we're talking about 60 watts or less can trigger migraines off in some people to the point where they have to be hospitalized. So I know for a fact that lights mean something. So can y'all please click a like? I see you in here. Thank you. So, lights. So, today, early this morning, I have a downstairs and an upstairs. So, this is what happens with my downstairs lights. Okay, when I'm downstairs, when the lights are on downstairs, I cannot see those lights upstairs. So there's a what would be the correct name? Like a divider in the galaxy. So when I'm downstairs, no matter where I'm at, if I'm upstairs and the lights are on downstairs, I cannot see those lights. Okay. But what I do know is the lights mean something. So this is what I do. I also want to point this out. I am not normal. So if you have a prophetic gift, you are an empath or a clairvoyant, you are not a normal person. Okay. So I will be more aware of certain elements than someone that does not have that particular gift. No different than someone that draws art will have a certain awareness when it comes to drawing and whatever their talent is versus me. I don't know what someone that can draw, I don't know what their awareness is because I don't have the gift. I can draw you a good stick figure and that's it. My gift is in a different area. So, the lights, if the lights are on downstairs, I cannot see those lights upstairs. But what I do, I know this about myself. If I cut on the dining room light, hallway, and of course, keep the living room light on downstairs, that will cause me to wake up earlier. I will get up earlier in the day. And when I say get up, I mean get out of the bed permanently and start my day. So, and it happens every single time. If I want to sleep a long time or not get up, if I want to have no creative thoughts at all I do is cut all the lights out downstairs except the light that's over the stove. I'll leave a little dim light on so it's not completely dark. So I know the difference in the lights. Being like a clairvoyant is what I am. I know the difference in the lighting. I know that the lighting downstairs makes a difference in what I'm going to do upstairs. So if I cut them completely off, my creative mind won't work. Okay. I will sleep, and that's a down day for me. Not a depressed day, a down day. That's like my off rest, getting my health in the right mode, getting my sleep, and stuff like that. One of the things I will always do, I don't care how sleepy I am, this is a routine that I will always do. And it's the reason why I don't have to take pills every day or medications, inclusive of high blood pressure medication, is because I urinate every 2 to 4 hours. Okay, so sometimes I can do it every 2 hours, at a minimum every 3 to 4 hours. I am not someone that's going to go 8 hours holding no piss. I don't have the body type for it. My gift requires cleansiness, and it requires bowels and urine not to be in me. Also, gifted bodies, we will normally have a bowel movement. We usually will not be able to hold our food past 3 hours. Okay, so gifted bodies, our food will come out within 3 hours. We don't hold bowels and urine. Our gift won't allow the poison. I've heard people tell me, one gentleman told me that whatever he eats comes out the next day. And he said literally 24 hours later. But he does not have the gifted body, or his gift is something else. I don't know. Maybe he has a different gift And I also think he needs to get medical treatment, but that's just the way his body is. His body stores that bowels and stuff like that. And that's what it's doing. When you eat, if you eat a salad and drink a sweet tea and it doesn't come out within 3 hours, and there's a name for it. There's a name for this. It means that you have more contractions in your stomach and stuff, and your muscles contract more to make you have a bowel movement sooner. Not diarrhea, a regular bowel movement. So, as a gifted body, my body will not allow me to store bowels for 24 hours. And I'm not talking about no diarrhea, y'all. Okay. I'm talking about regular good bowel movements. And I think it has a lot to do with the fact that I do urinate often. Okay. So, and I don't care what job I work. I could work a 10-hour shift. And another thing I won't do is hold my bowels. So if I have to have a bowel movement and my break is in like another hour at work, I tell my boss, I call a manager, I say, "Y'all got to take over. I got to use the restroom." I don't hold it for no job. I will not hold shit in my body or bowels for any employer. I don't care if I work for the president of the United States or any president. It's something I don't do. And the reason you shouldn't do it is because it causes the bowels to get hard and it causes constipation. So there's a medical reason that is prevalent for no one to do it. So with the lights, remember, this video is ultimately about lights. When I cut the lights completely off downstairs, except that one little like night light over the stove, and I'm sleeping upstairs, that's going to be an off day for me. Okay. I'm going to sleep. I'm going to heal. Those lights being off mean healing. And for some people, you got to be careful doing it because it might mean depression. However, that's not something I suffer from. Okay, I don't suffer from depression. So be careful with the lights if you suffer from depression. Okay. However, I'm explaining to you because you might be doing these certain things with your lights in your residence and you don't understand why you're in a certain field. You know, your field could be you're lacking in learning. Some of you might feel like you're you're too open to abusive narcissists and stuff like that. So, okay, now, early this morning, I cut the lights all the way on downstairs because I said that to myself, I wanted to get up early, but I changed my mind. So I decided to cut them. I decided basically to just leave one of them on, basically. Okay. Not cut them both off. There's two lights that I can use to brighten up the downstairs. I decided to just keep one on and one off. Okay. And so through doing that, it opened up my creative mind. So what it did, it allowed me to wake up. I woke up in the afternoon and I laid in bed and it brought out my creative thoughts. Okay. So the lights kind of like being partially on, it made me do some of both. It made me wake up, stay laying down, but I was able to come up with a lot of video ideas that I put in my device. Okay. So now, if I would have cut the lights completely on downstairs, and of course I slept upstairs, I would have woke up earlier. I would have most likely did a video or did a live, and I would not have utilized my creative ideas to come up with video ideas. Okay. So basically it's kind of like this. If you have an upstairs, you can't see your downstairs, or vice versa. No, I'm not going to say vice versa. This is going to be downstairs lights only, you sleep upstairs. I can't do the vice versa because my gift hasn't said what that means yet. So I only know about this part. Remember, through having my gift, I won't know everything. I'm not the Lord. However, I'm giving you some insight on how you could use more of your creative mind and connect the lights in your residence to it. Okay, so if you want to get out for the day and you want to run your errands, leave all your lights on downstairs or the main lights. Two lights, leave those two lights on. And I'm talking about those ceiling lights, not lamps, y'all. I'm not talking about lamps. I'm not talking about something that's going to fall over and set the house on fire. I'm talking about your ceiling lights. So, and I've been kind of doing this for quite a while consciously. I know that if I got to go somewhere early in the morning and I got a lot of stuff to do, I got to go to work, I got to run my errands, I know that my lights downstairs should be on. I've been knowing this for a little while now. Okay, because I figured out when I don't get the things I need to get done and I come down my steps, when I come down in darkness, I understand that that's why I didn't get my stuff done, because I created darkness. I create that when I have both those lights off downstairs. However, this time I left one on and cut one off. So I hate to use the word portal because people think you into witchcraft when you use it, but I'll use it in this case, okay? Because I know that I don't mean witchcraft. It created a portal or an open area in my mind to allow me to do both. It allowed me to get my rest and healed, and it allowed for my creative mind. And it's no big deal that I didn't do that live earlier. I had planned to do 3 lives earlier, but I would have had to cut the lights on downstairs, both lights. I would have had to cut those 2 bright lights on to wake up to do my lives. But I actually got more done because I came up with about 15 to 20 video ideas. Okay. So I can do those videos at any time I want to. They're lives, right? So out of the 2 lights, leaving one on and leaving one off allowed me to do some of both. So connect lights to your outcome. So if something's going on in your residence and you're trying to figure out why you're not getting more work done, you're not more productive, you want to use your creative mind more and it's not happening, it's because of the lights. And in this example, I'm using how the mind is affected when you have a upstairs and downstairs. Okay. So when you're sleeping upstairs, your lights downstairs affect your mind. You don't have to see the lights. Lights are energy, y'all. Light and darkness are both forms of energy. Both are. And being in the middle is energy, whether it be dark, completely light, or somewhere in the middle. So I had it somewhere in the middle. So I came up with about 15 video ideas. Also, I had a mild asthma attack, very mild. Okay. I survived. It almost was a borderline inflammation-based attack, inclusive of a little airway reconstriction attack. I had some of both. I had a mixture there. Listen, remember how I had the lights, y'all? Remember the lights were some of both. The lights, one was on, one was off. Downstairs, there's 2 lights. Okay, so let me explain it again. I sleep upstairs. So downstairs is 2 lights that I utilize. Dining room, hallway. The living room I just keep on at all times, okay? So dining room, hallway. So if I want to wake up and leave, and be creative outside the house, I cut both lights on downstairs. So there's these two lights, okay? But if I want to not have a creative day and I want to have a off day and a relaxed day to heal in the bed, I cut both those lights off downstairs as I sleep upstairs. Now, if I want to have a diverse day, out of those two lights downstairs, I cut one on and one off. So that gives me an open window for my life to be saved. So that's what I did. I had one light on, one light off. I tried to do it a little different because usually I cut both lights on off downstairs or I cut both on. So I'm extreme. I'm a Scorpio. So I'm doing from an extreme perspective. Either they're all off, those two lights are either both off, never in the dark now because I keep that like night light on over the stove. So the two lights downstairs are either both kept on intentionally by me, or the two lights downstairs are both kept off intentionally by me. I mixed it up this time. And I mixed it up before too, but I consciously mixed it up. So I decided to see what would happen if I left one light on and one light off. So out of the two lights, both being bright lights, I decided to leave one light on downstairs and one light off. I came up and went to sleep. So I had a asthma attack that was a mixed attack while I was sleeping. I had an inflammation-based attack, and part of my airway was shut off while I was asleep. And I survived it without an inhaler. I'm not relying on an inhaler in the way that I used to. Using the inhaler too much actually backfires, y'all. That's how I'm going to be dead sooner than later. And I want my inhaler to work if I don't come out of the attack. Which it ain't gonna work if I don't come out of the attack because I don't even know where the hell my inhaler is. It's downstairs in my zip thing. I need to get that out and keep it more nearby. I know where one or two of them is. It's just that it wasn't upstairs, it was downstairs. So with those two lights downstairs, I was able to come up with ideas more. Not just ideas about my video ideas. I came up with a money idea. One of my videos that I'm going to do is going to be about if I ever would have understood little money better, I would be in a financially wealthier situation. I never understood smaller money. So now I do, and I will be doing a video about that. I have my calculator out and everything. Okay. So the Lord wanted to show me, and the angels wanted to show me that, yes, those lights, you doing the lights that way out of those two bright lights downstairs, leaving one on and one off, made you have a diverse situation. I was awake in the bed, paying bills, coming up with video ideas, and I got a better understanding of money. And all of these gifts are coming to me as well. I'm being gifted extra because I am not sexually active, y'all. There's no one taking my energy as of right now. So this is my gift that I'm sharing so you can understand the lighting in your house. And this situation is only about when you're sleeping upstairs and the lights are below you downstairs. That's all my gift is sharing with you right now. This ain't a made up gift I got. It's actually a real gift. So if I'm not prophetic in a certain area, I cannot share that part of the gift with you. So you got to go to somebody else and ask them about how the lights would work in reverse. If you're sleeping downstairs and the lights are on upstairs. See, because this is why it would be different in a clairvoyant sense. And from my gift perspective, it is different. My gift tells me it's different because when you're sleeping downstairs and the lights are on or off, upstairs or partially on or off, your upstairs is on top of you, if that makes sense. The upstairs is on top of you. Now, this creative gift and restful gift and healing gift and all of that I'm talking about, I'm above the lights. Does that make sense? I am above the lights. And when I sleep, I don't sleep in the dark. I don't sleep in the dark. I sleep with a lamp on, not with the light in the ceiling on, with the lamp almost on my bed level, way across from me. This helps my visions too. When the light, that lamp, is across from my bed over in the corner, that opens me up to more accurate visions. But when I'm in my bedroom and I have that ceiling light on, because in my bedroom I have a cathedral ceiling. You got to keep that in mind. A cathedral ceiling has a different effect than a ceiling, a regular ceiling height. So a cathedral ceiling is very, very tall. So my bedroom has a cathedral ceiling and I keep that light off when I'm asleep. I just utilize an actual lamp. I do it old school, y'all. And that lamp is across from me about 6 to 10 feet across from my bed. So because that lamp is there, my prophetic gift is telling you, and for me, it's allowing my visions. I've always been 99.9% accurate. So I hope this helps. So what I'm going to be doing is utilizing my gift more so that you can have a more creative life. You will have a much more creative life through knowing the meaning of your lights downstairs when you're living upstairs. Okay? Or when you're upstairs resting and sleeping and you're living upstairs. Okay, you're upstairs living. You're living downstairs and upstairs, but you're spending your time in the upstairs of your residence. Okay? And it doesn't have to be your residence. If you're living with family, and if you're living with family, you're not homeless. You're not considered homeless. One sister told me one time, her theory of not being homeless is living with family, being on a lease, or you own your residence. That was her theory of you're not homeless. You're living with family. And I'm talking about living with a stable family member. One that's not threatening to put you out every week. Okay. You're living with family, but you're not on the lease. So for example, your parents own a home. Your auntie and uncle own a home and you live with them. You're not on their mortgage, but they're letting you stay. And they're saying you can stay for however long, as long as you pay your portion of the rent. Okay. So this video is about the lights and how lights affect you. And whatever I want from my next day, that's what I will do. I always, if I know I got to leave early and get out the next day, like I know I'm going to be leaving out tomorrow. This is Saturday, but Sunday I'm going to want to leave. So my lights downstairs, out of those two lights, I will have both of the two lights on. Because my energy, I want to wake up. So you can create the type of creativity and the situation you want, and you can create your outcome through knowing what to do with your lights. And that's my prophecy for today. I don't need cards, y'all. I'm not gonna mess my gift up and pull no cards out and start flipping no cards for y'all. For me, that ain't natural. I don't need cards. If I really got a gift, I should be able to use my eyes and ears and walk around. Why I need cards if your gift real? Why I gotta get a deck of cards and deal some cards and then one of them say lights? That's what another clairvoyant needs to do. I don't need to do that. I pray too, y'all. I'm a praying woman, okay? So hopefully this makes sense. So in summary, the lights, when you're residing upstairs and resting upstairs, okay, it's bedtime, it's rest time. Those lights downstairs, and I'm using an example of 2 lights, y'all. Okay, those lights downstairs will affect what your next day or next morning will be like. It affects both the next day and the next morning. So if you want to be creative outside the home and take care of your business, go to work and run your errands, if there's 2 lights you're using downstairs, cut both on at night. So when you're ready to go to bed, cut both lights on. Now, if you want to purposely escape from the world and rest and heal, you had a headache, you're sick, you got water retention, and you want that water retention to come off you, and you only want to get up every 2 to 3 hours just to go pee or urinate, and you want to sleep 10 to 15 hours, literally sleep, y'all, beauty rest. It does work, okay? Then if you want to do that before you go to bed, cut both those lights off downstairs, because I'm using an example of 2 lights downstairs. Cut them both off, go upstairs, go to bed, and the next day you'll sleep in, get your rest, 10 to 15 hours, and the Lord will be healing you while you sleep, okay? Now, I gave an example. Be careful if you suffer from depression, okay? I almost advise people, I will advise people, if you suffer from depression, I strongly advise you to only cut the lights off downstairs if you're leaving the house, okay? You know, you want to cut them off right before you go to work. But if you're sleeping upstairs and you suffer from depression, those lights downstairs, out of 2 lights, cut both of them on, or at least have one on. It may be a better idea out of the 2 lights to cut them both on because you have depression, okay? And in the dark rooms and dark energy, the color of it in the room, just the dark energy in the residence, will contribute to depression, okay? So that will be different. And I learned that I helped take care of a bedridden patient, and her relative would make sure that she did not remain in the dark. The bedridden patient suffered from a little mild depression because she was bedridden. She had a reason to be depressed, a justifiable reason to be depressed. That's a justifiable reason to have mild depression, or extreme depression or moderate depression when you can no longer walk, at least to be depressed temporarily. But a lot of people that cannot walk, they will suffer with mild, moderate, or severe depression as long as they can't walk or use the limbs that they're not able to use anymore. So I learned that, and that sisters, she won't call herself this, but she's a clairvoyant as well. She's able to predict things, and so was her relative that was bedridden. They had my gift as well, but mine is a little bit more perfected, and I'm more aware of it, and it's been utilized more since I've been a very, very young child. So Mine has been tested more, utilized more. Um, I accept and acknowledge the gift. The gift won't get better if you don't acknowledge it. Some of the things that I exclude from my framework or from my personality is a spirit of jealousy. So because I don't have jealousy, jealousy is not part of my natural makeup. To be jealous of the way somebody look, to be jealous because they got more money, their health is better. It's not my makeup and it's not my framework. So because of that, I'm able to perfect my gift better. Because if I had a spirit of jealousy towards another sister, I wouldn't be able to predict certain things or use my clairvoyant gift in a more sophisticated and accurate way. So hopefully this video about the lights, the use of the lights, and remember this example is about those lights downstairs and what condition those lights are in before you go upstairs to go to sleep. Those two lights, whatever condition they're in, that's how your next day is going to turn out. Okay. So I will put these other videos in the description box below that I was talking about. And so please like, share, and subscribe, y'all. I got my tea here. My asthma's doing good. No cough, because I mixed up that energy with the lights, y'all. Those lights downstairs last night, I had one on and one off. So I had a mixed asthma attack while I was asleep, very brief, and no cough. Maybe that's the type of asthma attack I need to not have the asthmatic cough so much. But I've been a week in with the asthma, right? So usually around this time, the cough goes away. But who knows? The condition of my lights. The condition of my lights. Picture this. The condition of my lights that are downstairs before I go to bed could affect my asthma. Because those lights are bringing energy into the residence. So imagine that. Asthma getting better or being in a certain position because it has something to do with how my lights are on or off downstairs. Imagine that. That's one thing the doctor's not going to tell me. That you know what? You won't need that inhaler today if you just fix the two lights. Have one on and have one off before you go to bed and your asthma get better. Doctors are not going to tell me that. Because for one, they ain't figured it out. Even if they had figured it out, they're not allowed to. It's not their gift. Most doctors are not connecting your medical health to energy or your environment. Unless you got some sort of cancer and you was at a construction job for many years. And what's that one cancer? I can't think of the name of it, but it's right on the tip of my tongue. It comes from like the drywall, all that debris from the drywall gives asbestos cancer. That's what it's called. All those debris from the drywall materials, especially for like long-term construction workers, especially when they worked in eras where they were not using the safety, the protective safety equipments, masks, and certain things. A lot of them get asbestos cancer. I think that's improved now, but there is people that still get asbestos cancer. One of my clients, when I was doing legal work and filing legal documents for people many, many years ago. I was a document preparer. And one of my clients' husbands had that asbestos cancer. He lived a pretty, pretty long time too, but it came from long term construction work. I'm bringing that up because usually that's the only time that doctors will bring up environment in comparison to your cancer. But other than that, they usually won't do it. Click a like, y'all, please. Let me check the comments. So, this video, how the lights affect you and the use of the lights. So, please like, share, and subscribe. Share the video. Thank you so much. So, I'm going to also be putting this video under using my gift or whatever. It's whatever playlist that talks about gifts. I will be putting this video under that playlist, and that's how I used it today. So I gave you the key to the lights, those lights downstairs versus your upstairs. Also, having one light on downstairs and one light off, it actually created financial wealth. It contributed to more financial ideas for how to do better even with smaller money. I'll do a separate video about that. But having it on a moderate level, one light on, one light off, one light on and one light off downstairs before I went to bed upstairs. I was in moderate mode. I was in the middle mode for both to happen: rest, creativity, ideas, sleep, health, wellness. And I lost a couple of pounds, y'all. No asthmatic cough. Got my sweet tea. Getting ready to eat a small dinner. And please like, share, and subscribe, y'all. Thank you. Bye. Tune in for more right here with the Advanced Insight channel. The light, y'all. The lights. The correct use of those lights. Tune in for more right here.